The story I am about to tell you today happened to me, so listen carefully.
When my wife Margaret died, the silence in our house was unbearable. 42 years of marriage leaves echoes everywhere. Her laugh in the hallway, her slippers by the bed, the way she always hummed when she washed dishes. Our son Daniel told me I shouldn't stay alone. "You shouldn't be rattling around in that big place by yourself, Dad," he said gently, sitting across from me at the kitchen table. "You need family around you." Family. The word felt warm. He and his wife, Claire, had 2 young children at the time. They were renting a cramped apartment, always complaining about space, about money, about how hard life was. "What if we did something together?" Claire suggested one evening, her voice sweet, eyes careful. "A family home, all of us." I hesitated. Margaret's house, our house, held my entire life. But grief weakens your defenses. Loneliness makes bad ideas sound reasonable. Daniel squeezed my hand. "It'll be your home too, Dad. We'll take care of each other." I believed him. We sold my old house 6 months later. I cried the day I handed over the keys. Margaret's rose garden was gone. The porch where we drank coffee every morning belonged to strangers. But I told myself it was worth it. The money from the sale, my entire nest egg, went straight into the family home. Daniel and Claire found a plot of land just outside the city. Big yard, good schools, quiet neighborhood. "This is perfect," Claire said, already imagining. I paid the down payment. I paid the closing costs. I paid for the architect. When construction delays happened, I covered the overruns. "It's just temporary," Daniel assured me. "I free time. We'll figure it out later." Later. Always later.
Please like the video and subscribe to my channel. I was there every day during construction. I brought coffee for the workers. I argued with contractors. I chose fixtures, paint colors, appliances. "This one's your room," Claire said one afternoon, pointing to a downstairs bedroom with a window facing the garden, "so you don't have to deal with stairs." I felt included, needed. I bought furniture, a dining table big enough for holidays, a sofa for the living room, a grill for the backyard. "Dad, you don't have to do all this," Daniel said once, smiling as he accepted another check. "I want to," I replied. "This is our home." I believed that, too. The first year was good. We ate dinner together most nights. I babysat the kids. I fixed things around the house. I felt useful again. But slowly, things changed. My opinions mattered less. "That's outdated," Claire said when I suggested a bookshelf in the living room. "We're thinking of turning your room into a home office," Daniel mentioned casually one night. My room. They didn't ask, they informed. I laughed it off, didn't want conflict, didn't want to seem ungrateful. After all, they were letting me live there, or so it began to feel. The language changed before the behavior did. Daniel's house. Our house. What we decided. Not our house. When guests came over, Claire introduced me as Daniel's dad who lives with us. Not co-owner, not partner, just resident. I noticed. I said nothing. It happened over something small. A fence. I wanted to add a small fence around the garden to keep the dog out. Claire didn't like the look. "This is our house," she said sharply. "We don't want it." I laughed, confused. "I paid for the house, at least half of it." Her smile disappeared. Daniel stepped in quickly. "Dad, let's not do this." "Do what?" I asked. "Make it awkward." That was the moment something cracked. The next day, while Daniel and Claire were at work, I went through the filing cabinet in the study. Mortgage documents, insurance, property tax statements. My name wasn't there. Not once. I checked again. Still nothing. I sat down slowly, my hands shaking. This couldn't be right. I called the county records office. "Yes," the woman confirmed politely.
The property is owned solely by Daniel Harris and Claire Harris. I swallowed. And me? I asked. My name? There was a pause. Sir, you're not listed on the deed. That evening, I asked Daniel directly, why isn't my name on the house? He froze. Claire spoke first. Oh, that, she said lightly. It was just easier this way, for taxes. For taxes, I repeated. Daniel wouldn't meet my eyes. You said we'd sort it out later, I said. Claire sighed. Frankly, Dad, she said, we didn't think it mattered. You live here, your family. Family. I felt sick. So if something happens to me, I asked, what then? She shrugged. You don't need to worry about that. I stood up. You were never going to put my name on it, were you? Silence. That night, I didn't sleep. I replayed every conversation, every check, every smile. They hadn't forgotten. They had planned. I was an investor without rights, a wallet with a bed. I realized something else, too. If they ever wanted me gone, I had no protection. This wasn't just betrayal, it was dangerous. I made coffee as usual. Claire chatted about school schedules. Daniel scrolled on his phone. I said nothing. Inside, something had hardened. I called a lawyer that afternoon. Mr. Evans was calm, experienced, kind. What you're describing, he said, is financial exploitation, not uncommon, especially with elderly parents. But I agreed, I said weakly. You trusted, he corrected. That's not the same. He laid out my options. I could sue. I could file a lien. I could demand repayment. I could force a sale. But you need to decide, he said gently, how far you're willing to go. I thought of Margaret, of her trust, of the money she left me so I'd be safe. I want what's fair, I said. I didn't confront them immediately. Instead, I became quiet. I stopped paying for extras. When the water heater broke, I said, you'll need to handle that. When Claire hinted about a kitchen remodel, I smiled and changed the subject. They noticed. Are you okay, Dad? Daniel asked one night. Never better, I replied. 3 weeks later, Claire sat me down. We've been talking, she said carefully, about long-term plans. My stomach tightened. We think it might be time for you to consider other living arrangements. There it was. Daniel looked uncomfortable but didn't disagree. You mean move out, I said. Well, Claire said, this is our family home. The kids need space. I nodded slowly. I see. The lawsuit papers arrived 2 days later. Daniel panicked. Claire screamed. You're trying to take our house, she accused. I'm reclaiming my money, I replied calmly. Mr. Evans did the talking. Every payment documented, every transfer logged, every promise noted. They offered a settlement. I declined. The judge listened carefully, listened to timelines, to intentions, to evidence. When the verdict came, it was simple. The house would be sold, proceeds split proportionally. Daniel and Claire had to repay additional funds. Claire cried. Daniel looked broken. I felt nothing. I bought a small apartment near the river, quiet, sunlit, mine. I furnished it slowly, carefully. Daniel tried to call. I didn't answer. Not out of revenge, out of clarity. Some nights I sit on my balcony and think about how close I came to losing everything. Not just money, my dignity. Love built on obligation is not love, and family that only wants you when you're useful is not family at all. My name was never on the deed, but my life is finally my own.
That night, I couldn't sleep. For the first time, a thought crept in that I had been avoiding for years. What exactly do I own? Please like the video and subscribe to my channel.